All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this interview with our fabulous, gorgeous client, Gisele. Gisele, I'm so excited to have you here today. I cannot wait for everyone to listen to your story. So, hello, my dear. Why don't you just say hello and introduce yourself? Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Gisele. I'm a clinical psychologist. I live in London and I'm originally from Portugal, but I've been living in London for the last 20 years. I do have a 14-year-old son, and I work in the National Health Service here in London. So I've got a full-time job at the moment in the National Health Service.
Awesome. So, Gisele, why don't you share a little bit about what was going on when you booked that call with me a few months ago? Like, what was going on in your life that made you start looking for a mentor?
So the issue, the main issue for me was really was inconsistency. So there was I really love my job. I get a lot of praise from colleagues and bosses, and my clients, from the work that I do. But I sometimes felt that I wasted a lot of time procrastinating. I wasted a lot of time ruminating about negative things. I felt that my confidence sometimes was a bit low. So it was really the inconsistency of of how I felt, of doing things. Even though I work very hard, I felt that at times I would just waste time, because I was procrastinating. I had some self-doubt. I was ruminating about things that obviously, today I'm quite clear that they don't really need to go through my mind. I don't need to think about these things. So, and and I try to work on myself. I suppose as a psychologist, you also know about all of these strategies and ways of thinking. And I tried to do it for myself, and it did work sometimes, but it was the inconsistency that really made me think that I needed to do something else. And then I saw your advert, Fernanda, on Facebook, and it really spoke to me. It spoke of rumination, procrastination, self-doubt, and it really caught my attention. So I was very curious, and I booked a session with you. And then went through the Rewired program. So, and yes, here I am at the other side.
Yeah, on the other side. And before we talk about the other side and your experience in the program, Gisele, what had you tried in the past to kind of solve this or to get out of your way or
So in the past, I, kind of made resolutions in my own head about not procrastinating, not ruminating, thinking about the positive things that I've been able to do and accomplish. Also spoke to, as a clinical psychologist, we have supervision with someone who's more experienced than we are. So spoke about not so much about, kind of my doubts about myself, but for example, I line manage a lot of colleagues. So I would take issues to, clinical supervision to get advice. Many years ago, I also had some counseling after a sort of a difficult event, and that helped me a little bit to think about the aspects of myself and my life that I wasn't happy with. But I always found myself coming back to the same place of self-doubt and lack of confidence, and ruminating about negative things. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, a lot of the time, about things that really were very small. So those were the main, and self-help books as well. I've read self-help books. So those were really, yeah, the main things that I did. A lot of self-reflection, and kind of making resolutions, but not being able to consistently stay with those resolutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm curious then if you would share a little bit then your story, like what was it like to go through the program? What were some of the first changes that you began to see?
Um, the main one of the main things that I saw initially, happening to me was not ruminating as much. I think that was one of the things that went away quite quickly. I was able to stop, kind of
Mm.
going over things that, I don't know, sometimes someone said, not in a malicious way at all, but just a comment that I found hurtful or upsetting, and I found myself not thinking about those things as much at all. I was also really able to do things much quicker as well, so not procrastinating. So if I had to do something, then starting to do them quite quickly rather than putting them off for the day after.
Mm.
So those were the two things that I saw very, very quickly from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, being able to just stay with what was going on, there and then, not ruminating and doing things that I needed to do that I avoided before, and now started doing them quite quickly.
Awesome. I remember that, how you kind of really fast. I mean, maybe also the line of work that you do and having a lot of self-awareness already, like really quickly having like a lot of transformation and success and moving fast and starting to take big action. And I would love to for you to share a little bit about how was working with us like for you. I mean, you were also used to being in the kind of in circles and in group of people, and what was different? What was the experience like for you, Gisele?
So there's several things that I found really, really helpful about the program. The intensity in a nice way, intensity in the sense that there's meetings group meetings twice a week, but that really keeps the work going. It's very, very supportive. It's very, very contained, and it keeps the work. You have the work in your awareness. You're aware of what your the purpose of doing this work is. So the group meetings were really, really helpful. Kind of the everyday work was really, really helpful as well. So having access to the lessons on the platform was a reminder of the work that you needed to do every day, and that kept the momentum going of the work that it was really needed to be done. So I really enjoyed the meditations, listening to the lessons. Attending the group meetings was incredibly helpful because of your support and Rita's support, but also all the other women in the group. And that really, I think, kind of talking about similar things that other people are experiencing as well is really is very normalizing. You don't
Mm.
feel alone, you don't feel ashamed to talk about the difficulties that you're going through, because other people are going through them as well. I also found that you and Rita never you didn't shy away of talking about the difficulties with us. So it wasn't about both of you being very nice to us. The issues were addressed quite directly, but in a very respectful way, in a very supporting way. And I did say, to you and to Rita and to the other women on the program that I had taken part in many group kind of group meetings, not so much group meetings, but group work. And this group was the one that I found the most safe, I mean, one of the best groups that I've attended. And definitely the thing that I found incredibly powerful was how safe the group
Mm.
was. I really never felt that people were criticizing me, that you or Rita were criticizing me, or anybody in the group. So it felt incredibly supportive and safe.
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned that, Giselle, because we work really hard to provide a safe container, a safe space where there's absolutely no judgment, and that we can really go deep in order also to have a transformation. So
Mm.
I appreciate that so much, and you playing full out also in the group, and providing, you know, a lot of deep conversations and great questions also obviously contributes to that kind of high level environment. And just
Mm.
I would love for you to talk about then, like, how is your life different than today? Like, well, what has changed for you?
So life is more it's more on an even keel. So I don't feel this, the self-doubt. I would say it's almost not there. And if it comes up, what comes back to me is what I want to do, which is develop my business as a clinical psychologist in private practice. But also, there's a bigger project going on between me and my partner, which is an online shop. What comes to me is that I can do this. It's possible for me to do this. I've got the skills, and if there is anything I don't know, I can either learn. There's support out there. I can ask other people. So the self-doubt dissipates really, really, really quickly. I'm also really grateful for so many things in my life. I was grateful before, but now it's a deeper, sense of being grateful, that there is so many things that are going incredibly well. Really enjoying my job. I liked my job before, but where I sometimes felt angry with things, felt really tired with the amount of work I had, that doesn't bother me anymore. There's really very, very little anger or irritation going on. And if I feel that something is coming up for me where I'm feeling a bit more irritable, then the meditations really help me. Some of the strategies that we learned from you, like the 3 S's, eye openers, really, really help me. Going back to, because you allow us to have access to the platform, going back to the lessons is really, really helpful. So I don't ruminate, very, very hardly ruminate these days, very little procrastination. And I'm more, I can catch myself doing these things much more, kind of more readily. And so I can nip them in the bud very, very quickly. So and there's a renewed sense of trust in myself, that I
Mm.
can, I can do the things that I set my mind to do. So my private practice is at the very beginning, but I'm really, really excited. I've got already one client that came, my website is not up and running, but I've already have a client that came to me through an insurance company. So I'm really excited about starting this new journey. And even in my job, where things, they weren't going bad, they weren't going badly. It was just a lot of work. But I see that my colleagues, they've always been really, really nice to me and very thankful. But there's a different quality of in the relationships that I have with my colleagues. There's a lot of which is always really nice to have, but there's a lot of praise from my colleagues. There's a lot of
Mm.
saying thank you. I mean, I don't do these things for that. I do these things, I do my job because I really enjoy what I do. But I don't know, I think from not being so irritable and angry, not procrastinating as much, feeling confident about, what I do seems to really come across. And I think people approach me more, and with more ease. And that's really, really, really nice to see. It's such a self-reinforcing process.
Fabulous. I mean, Giselle, it's been kind of mind-blowing to watch your journey. I remember our first conversation and the struggles, like you said, of procrastinating and doubting yourself and ruminating, and then suddenly the shifts you started having, and then all the amazing, like not only inner you experiencing yourself differently, but like you said, when you're showing up in a different way, the ripple effect and the impact it has in changing relationships and work relationships, and how colleagues perceive you and how your supervisors perceive you. And absolutely amazing, and a testament to you, like how brilliant you are and amazing. And it's been such an honor having you. You're fabulous. We miss you in the
Thank you,
program.
Fernanda.
Yeah. Giselle, before we finish off, like what would you say to someone who's considering working with us?
Definitely go for it. As I think I said that in one of the in the last group I attended, that I never doubted the program. I doubted myself about, whether I would stick to the program, but I really never doubted the program, because what you said, in your video on Facebook really touched me and really spoke to the things that I was struggling with. So my advice is, don't think twice. Go for it. It is an amazing program to go through, and there's just so much support. Even after the program, there's so much support from Fernanda. There's access to the materials. This is, I really felt this was, an opportunity of a lifetime. It really is incredible. So I would encourage, women to come to this program. It is really life-changing. It has changed my life, in such an amazing way, and in such a short period of time, because it was 3 months, and it's just made such a difference to me. My life is so much better. I feel, because I feel so much better, I feel so much more, I think on an even keel is the expression. So there's not the, the ups and downs, the doubts, and I feel more alive. So, it's priceless. It really is a priceless program to take part in. And without the connections you make with Fernanda and Rita and the other women, you potentially, you may not speak to them again, but it stays with you. It really stays. The presence and the kindness, and the support that you receive, and being able to talk about your own issues in such in a supportive environment really stays with you.
Beautiful. All right, Giselle. You're amazing. Thank you for those kind words. And again, we love and adore you. You're amazing. It's been absolutely delightful having you in the program. Okay. And again, thank you so much for sharing your story. I bet a lot of women would just love you and resonate with your words and your story. Okay. So thank you so much, Giselle.
Thank you, Fernanda. Thank you for everything.